So I had to reset that a little bit. Let me go check my audio for a bit. Do I sound decent? No, I do not. The fuck is happening here? So what the hell is going on with my audio? Is it picking up my voice? Kind of. I have no idea what the fuck is up with my shit. Let me check some of this shit out. I'm gonna restart the app actually. Fuck. I gotta check if. Oh, hold on. That wasn't good. Okay, I'm gonna keep it controlled and then I'm gonna raise it back. That's better. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I'll speak about them when I get to near. I haven't done the escalation challenge yet, but I handled a lot of this other stuff. It's been a while since I played this game, so on stream. For whatever reason, my guild decided to commit Shinju and not tell me about it, so I'm the only person left in my guild, which used to be pretty packed, but overnight, everyone who was left just kind of decided, I'm done with the game, let me hop off. So I had to do a lot of these guild fights on my own. It's not the worst situation to find yourself in, but it is kind of funny. So I've been slowly building up my reserves of blue crystal. I'm almost at a decent reserve. If I roll two twos, I can get whatever fit that I want, or one free. Well, there's just a couple more grand of blue crystal, but that's just all going to be important for the summer. So we're gonna see the reason why this lady was tweaking out and why a relationship is so complicated. I mean, we've already seen the scene where Grimoire Valentine kind of meets his end early on because of their experiments. But yeah, she feels a lot of guilt for that. That's why she distances herself from Vincent. You know, Vincent is pretty forgiving of that. I don't think he really. This is a good Shrek, by the way. I like her anklet. Yeah, Vincent seems to be like this really understanding dude. Either that or he really just didn't like his dad, to be honest. So Weiss was dead, I think, because of the restrictor that he killed in the online only mission campaign. Because he killed this motherfucker, he ended up with a disease that spreads into the bodies of everyone who is part of Deep Ground who kills their Gestapo. They get like a terminal toxin or disease. I don't remember which is which, but same point. It's supposed to kill its host in case there's an uprising. But yes, there's something else within the consciousness of Weiss. Oh, he looks shmee off the blee. Kind of looks like Scarlett Johansson in the face. Okay, so who am I gonna fight? Nero again, or don't moan like that ever again, man. Damn, I didn't even get my main hit off. I did not mean to do that. I gotta keep my finger on the escape key. That dude has some crazy separation anxiety. He's looking at what happened to Nero and being like, "You motherfucker, you did that shit to your own brother." Now I gotta clarify because the media literacy crowd is going to get on my ass if I don't. I understand that the reason he's not upset that Lucrecia was involved with the death of his father is because he knows it's not her fault. But anyway, damn. So yes, this is actually. It would be nice if we got to see this fight in Ever Crisis soon because OG, especially. Yeah, this is Hojo. So, before Hojo died, he uploaded his consciousness to the internet. And then when the internet was restored because Weiss needed to search WebMD for instructions on how to survive his disease that he was afflicted with after destroying the Restrictor, um, he ended up getting a virus in the form of Hojo's consciousness inside him, which I can kind of relate because I got caught with a scam last week. So that means that canonically, Vincent fought Hojo at the end of disc 2, and he became, you know, chaos. He had his final limit break. Let me get this cursor out the way. I wonder, would Cloud Strife be a good host for Chaos? So I wonder, does that mean this is really just a copy of Hojo? Cause every post about uploading your consciousness to a drive so that you can come back later on, it's like that's not really you. That's like a copy of you. Maybe when Hojo died, the consciousness kind of like transferred over into the data. So his consciousness is already corrupted by Sephiroth. I mean, not Sephiroth, Genova. He wants to travel the stars, just like Sephiroth did when he finally gave in to Genova's machinations. It's kind of the thing about this story is that like around the 2000s, edgy narratives were getting kind of common because the monster within was the common theme. Think the Nine Tails inside Naruto, the Hollow inside Ichigo, uh, even right here the chaos inside Vincent. By the 2010s, like the Hollow inside Ichigo was more of a shadow integration type narrative. The Ninetales was no longer this like incarnation of hatred, but rather a thing that Naruto kind of teams up with cooperatively and synergistically. And that's not just, oh man, these things got retconned. No, it's more like some of these stories lasted long enough that they developed on the other end during the crossing of the decade. What was once ghastly and monstrous and demonic is now kind of transcendent. Yeah, so Nero and Weiss, just like their names are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Nero has stagnant Mako, and Weiss has like pure, uncontaminated Mako. And as you can see, Nero finally uh, brought out the true Weiss, not just. They're talking about Genesis here, so that has me very curious. Now they're both merged, which means that Hojo can't really reside in the body since it's not pure anymore. Normally we have to fight Weiss and base, but Hojo Weiss, but I guess they thought it was better in a cutscene, a little less redundant. For the record, when this game came out, science was a little bit more advanced and what we knew had improved, so it's not that Weiss and the Soviets have like these Genesis cells inside them. They've been grafted with the DNA of Genesis. So the script in their body, the alleles and all of that have been shifted. I feel like we're probably on the verge of another breakthrough with DNA understanding. There's a reason that people don't use DNA evidence as much to make decisions on a case. It's because they understand the limitations of it, whereas they thought it would be the end all be all before. Okay, so this is Omega. Okay, so that's not just her putting on the visage of Lucrecia, but that is actually a piece of what she actually felt and desired. See, I like these high concept themes and ideas because I like those like what makes a person distinctive to themselves. What does it truly mean to exist? Look at Lucrecia acting Arif-like with her gestures. It looked like he was about to get penetrated. Okay, so now he's in full control of chaos. That was it? I realized we didn't even. We didn't even get a fight against Weiss. Like, I gotta fight him over here, so you know what? Here's how I'm gonna handle that. Let's do the escalation challenge a little bit. Start out at level 3. Because I was able to go for EX3, and EX3 is like a little bit weaker than level 1 and 2 of the escalation challenge. But yeah, I like the idea of fighting this guy because he was actually a well-designed fight in Dirge, which is impressive. That is a hard flex. And he was a fun super boss in Remake because you can actually like dodge his attacks and deal with his bag a little bit. Ugh. That's such a cacophonic sound. This is amazing. I feel the pressure. Made him do a little bit of a step back. He danced the bachata. That's amazing. The bachata. Since I'm saying it like the Anglo way is funnier, but look at that. Now I can make myself some killer materia. But I guess we'll have to fight with Weiss properly the next rendition of this, where we actually see the end of Dirge. So I really like Weiss as a character. I just think it's unfortunate that there's a mystery box attached to him that isn't completely like resolved. Like he has a cool fighting style where he uses two katanas. It's not very practical, but he's kind of getting his Lara Croft on because they're also gun blades. His moveset is distinctive and fun to deal with in both Dirge and in Remake. I like that Sephiroth said gooning. I'm like, yeah, I've never done that before, but I'm always down to try new things. I feel like we're getting close to where Weiss might actually have my number. I have to start thinking about my setups and things of that nature. Yeah, the sound effects here are really loud, so let me actually... because I want to commentate over some of this stuff. So, I don't really mind doing a lot of this in auto battle because trying it out with just like tapping things is a little clunky and unresponsive on the PC version. Like target switching is such a pain in the ass. If this doesn't work, I'll change my setup a little bit. But yeah, Masashi Hamauzu, he kind of started tapping into that Final Fantasy XIII sound with this one. But it's the tracks in 13 that sound like this, those are the ones that I like. It's when it starts to go into like J-pop territory that I really don't like it, particularly because I don't like that era of pop music. For the record, like the blog era hip hop beats and even like American pop music sounded like that at the time, and I just really didn't like it. It was not really a good era for popular music. I kind of like the gradual shift to trap and know, an edgier like hip hop sound. Over like the overly bubblegummy shift that we had. I see how this is gonna play out. Okay. Now I gotta do a random fight so that I can get off auto. Doing that too defensively, that was gonna rear its ugly head. I could already see it. I'm not gonna do all of this right here. So I'm just doing this to get out of auto mode for the next time when I want to grind, because I will be playing this game again later on tonight just to handle some missions, get some blue crystal. I don't want to deal with all that nonsense. So, okay, that was already the purpose being served in doing this fight. As you can see, my setup is already kind of good for this battle, which is great because I've done some of these events where I haven't been able to go that far because it requires like builds that I'm just not that comfortable with. So let's see, daily, a little bit of that, that's good. Let me take a look. So we're 700 away from me being able to do 10 rolls, which means I only need 1 free or 2 twos to get lucky and get like a whole fit, which is great, but I really liked my time with Lucrecia. I wish I was a little bit longer, but I made up for it with a couple of Weiss fights. So, yeah, that was an interesting discussion on like consciousness and what makes people people. Like obviously, if I uploaded my consciousness to Gemini or Chat GPT, would that be me? Especially if I did it, but was still alive for a little bit before someone smoked me, and then uh, was that copy just chilling there waiting for a deaf key in order to activate, or was it just code until my true essence can like slip into that consciousness that matches my memories and experiences and traits all in bits and bytes and ones and zeros. How much of that is really Lucrecia and how much of that is just Shelke doing her magic to kind of brainwash herself partially, but also Vincent. I don't know, but like I said before, that game is kind of Shadow of the Hedgehog because it's gonna end with Vincent doing homing attacks in the exosphere against a boss while everyone else gives their little opinions, and a rock anthem, a rock style piece is playing. So I'm definitely looking forward to next week where we get to see a little bit of that in action. Um, Hopefully we can get like another OG chapter just to kick things off. Especially because a lot of us think that either June the 2nd or June the 5th, State of Play or Summer Games Fest, we'll be getting some Final Fantasy VII remake, part 3 stuff. What I will say is that I think they're not going to try to put anything on that State of Play that will potentially upstage Wolverine, because that's the game that's coming out, I think, in September. That they really want to make that a big deal, especially because 2 months after that, GTA 6 will be headlining, and the gaming industry kind of depends on GTA 6 being a success story, so you really got to sell anything that's coming shortly before then as a must purchase, because money is getting tight, but more importantly, time is getting tight. We know that people will be standing 10, 20, 40 toes down. They'll just mutate somehow in order to support GTA. And like that Spider-Man 2 thing with Symbiote Spider-Man, that wasn't really as impactful as Insomniac was hoping it would be. Now, it sold numbers, but it wasn't as impactful as the first Spider-Man game they dropped in the Miles Morales one. So they definitely are hoping this Wolverine thing can change the pace a little bit. And I like Wolverine. I'm a dude with long nails, so people kind of joke that I'm like Wolverine, even though his claws come from his like in between his knuckles, really. That's why I got like 3 of them. But anyway, it's been your boy Mr. Lanka 7. Thank you guys for watching, and Aksamic Day.